G'day everyone, welcome back to the show. Today is Thursday the 25th of April. Let's have a look at what's going on around the crypto domain, and as usual we will start with the numbers. So dominance, it's remained pretty stable, like it was 61.3 yesterday, so I'd call that flat. The total market cap is still flat at 3 trillion. The volume has dropped down to 100 billion, so it was nearly 150 yesterday. We're seeing red across 4 of the 5 top tokens, excluding your stablecoins. We are seeing a bit of a lift in the Coinbase app ranking to 310, but continues to be a long way from where we need. We have seen the fear and greed drop back, although only slightly, from a 72 to a 63, still in the greed phase, and that's not really unusual, right? When you see the market move with a couple of green days like we've just seen, you're going to get those little pullbacks, and then you start to see the fear and greed drop on the back of that. You know, most of the indicators are staying relatively flat, dropping slightly but not materially. Massive net ETF flows, so 833 million, so obviously massive ETF flows we've seen over the last day. Okay, so let's have a look at the top 100 with CoinGecko. We can see here we've got Bitcoin still floating around that 93, 94 mark. It's up, 0.7%, nothing drastic, but 10.7 on the week, which is good. As with most, after we've seen that rise over the last couple of days, we've got decent weekly 7-day moves. And the 24 hour, this 24 hour is a little bit flat compared to the last couple, right? SWE's bucking the trend a bit. It's at 13.5. We do have a video coming out from the Block to Basics series around SWE, explaining that token, giving a bit more detail around it, which will be a good watch if you're not across SWE and the team and what it actually does, what it's trying to solve. Let's scroll down. We've got ONDO again, another one. We've got a video coming out about that one soon as well. That's obviously in the RWA world with BlackRock and that. We scroll further. Pols, so the old Polygon, the old Matic, that's at 12.4%. It's obviously a layer 2 on the Ethereum network. Algorand 6.2. FET, another one we've been talking about a bit the last week, is at 11.6 for the 24 hour, 40% for the week. Stacks is another one we spoke about recently, 14.1%. Bonk, the meme trend continues, 10% for that. And not a lot else. Let's have a look at the top 100 in the crypto bubbles. It's always good to see it in another view, because there are things you miss just going down that list sometimes, and this sort of really puts it in front of your face. I do like this view. Trump down. I mean, that had a massive pump yesterday, obviously on the back of the dinner that he's hosting for the top holders. Not a lot. We covered most of these. You've still got Mana there, Wall there, which we've spoken about in the last couple of days. Let's move on to the 100 to 200. So we've got Elrond. That's a Multiverse X. Sorry, it was Elrond previously. It's looking at power the metaverse frontier. Aero, which is exchange on base. You got Pengu, Pudgy Penguins, Popcat, Meme, FTT, otherwise known as FTX exchange. You got Pendle out here, so that enables tokenization for trade of like future yield. Chems has pulled back. We often see that, right? We see those tokens that get a big pump, and then the next day we see a bit of a pullback. And hopefully for the holders, when you're seeing that, it's just not pulling back as much as the pump you got the day before. And you gradually get that, that move up in your chart. 200 to 300. You've got ONDO. So that's a blockchain as a service that provides blockchain infrastructure to businesses and institutions and the like. Mythos, that's gaming. Kadena, KDA, that's another one similar to, well, often people view it as a competitor to Casper. So scalable blockchains, layer ones. Cetus, that's a DEX. Well, mobile token, that's good to see. A big fan of that one. That's DPIN. I got into that back in 2021 when it launched the Earth nodes. Really good. Mickey and the team. They're connecting the unconnected. So building, infrastructure in areas like, looking at Africa. It's rolled out in the US now. It's rolling out in Pakistan, I believe. It's a great project. No good building things like Cardano and that where people can, banking the unbanked and that. Well, if they don't have connection to the internet, it's all irrelevant. That solves that. That's getting these people where other organizations have tried, that's getting these people connection to the internet. So it's connecting the unconnected, using solar power, using local services, aerostats. It's definitely look into that project. We'll probably we'll do a video on that one, and we'll have a link to. There's a really good little video in YouTube which World Mobile put out years ago, back in 21, I think they put it out, which just really gives an overview of what they're hoping to achieve and a real world use case for it, where they actually did like a model in a village and used it to show how it works. Really good. If we get into news, okay, the first article today, Charles Hoskins. This is one of those, everyone's going to be jumping up. Charles versus, Vitalik, Ethereum. As most people know, Charles was one of the original early team members or founders or CEO even of Ethereum. So people do listen a bit to what he says around Ethereum. Founder claimed Wednesday Ethereum, the blockchain he co-founded, will become obsolete in the next 10 to 15 years. It's a big call. Ethereum currently boasts a market capitalization over $212 billion, securing its place as the second largest cryptocurrency after Bitcoin. It's held that it's got the first mover advantage, definitely. Hoskinson argues that Ethereum has made three major errors that will lead to it becoming obsolete. First off, they have the wrong accounting model, they have the wrong virtual machine, they have the wrong consensus model. Secondly, they choose to solve these problems using layer 2s. And thirdly, he argues Ethereum's lack of robust on-chain governance. Hoskinson pointed to SWI's objective model as an example worth emulating. Unlike blockchains that rely on accounts with key value stores, SWI's model centers around objects as the primary units of storage. Unsurprising, Hoskins was full of praise for Cardano's approach. No way, really? Saying we thought a lot about how to build a layer 2 ecosystem in Cardano that's not parasitic, but actually symbiotic. That's what Midnight is doing with Cardano. So Midnight is meant to be out, I think it's still the first half of this year. I believe it was going to be early this year, but obviously that hasn't happened. So I'd say the first half of this year. They're going to come out with, I think they've got two tokens on it, Night and Dust. And they're doing a massive airdrop, like to hundreds of thousands of, potentially millions of wallets, called Glacier, I think it's going to be called. But one of the things with Charles's concerns, he's sort of highly within the industry, right? If this gains traction among the developers and institutions, it could speed up the migration of these institutions and developers to other chains like Sui and Cardano. He's still dominant for sure, but the landscape is changing. I mean, you think of things like BlackBerry, Kodak, Blockbuster, First mover advantage, yes. Massive market share, yes. Doesn't mean you have it forever. Hoskinson concluded his critique by supporting Ethereum co-founder Vitalik Buterin's proposal to transition to the RSIC-V architecture, a model that Cardano already uses. So, of course, he's going to support that, isn't he? According to Buterin, adopting RISC-V would greatly improve the efficiency of Ethereum execution layer, resolving one of the primary scaling bottlenecks, and can also greatly improve the execution layer's simplicity. So watch this space. Next article, ONDO. ONDO meets with SEC Crypto Task Force to discuss tokenization of US securities. So this is the RWA space, right? The real world assets. And we know that Larry Fink and BlackRock have spoken about this, and they believe everything will eventually be on chain. So ONDO is, BlackRock's, with ONDO, and ONDO's a big player. I think if you look, actually, let's have a quick look. Go into here, we can go to categories, and we can go down to RWAs. And there's ONDO there, number 3 on the RWA. I mean, Chainlink is huge, right? So and it's been around for a long time, and a lot of projects use it. But ONDO is very highly ranked for the RWAs. So the ONDO Finance and Legal Counsel met with US Securities and Exchange Commission's Crypto Task Force on April 24 to discuss regulatory pathways for tokenized versions of publicly traded US securities. ONDO's presentation addressed regulatory challenges, including registration requirements, broker-dealer obligations, market structure rules, financial crimes compliance, and application of state corporate laws. All big things. ONDO's legal team outlined key considerations around investor protection, anti-money laundering compliance, and the application of the Exchange Act to token-based issuance models. All big in the banking, all big in the finance world. The initiative marks another step in ONDO's broader push to integrate traditional finance assets into blockchain-native environments. The firm currently manages over $1 billion in tokenized products, representing 16.4% of the $6.15 billion tokenized US securities market. The ONDO short-term US government bond fund is a blockchain-based fund that tokenizes exposure to short-term US treasuries. Its primary backing is the BlackRock, there we go, USD Institutional Digital Liquidity Fund, BIDL. The meeting represents part of the broader industry effort to seek clarity on regulatory guidance since SEC's leadership change in January. So look, honestly, it's a big step further for mainstream adoption, definitely. It opens up avenues for increased liquidity. You're going to get broader investor participation. Surely it's gonna bolster that confidence, right, in the industry, in our industry as a whole, from the institutions. Not only the institutions, though, this will roll into retail investors, because they'll just have that confidence that, if Wall Street is doing it, it must be safe. And it's also going to really bring together the blockchain tech and that conventional financial system. So it's massive news. It's really going to kick forward the industry as a whole and shoot it into the future. It's sort of where we thought we would see this finish is sort of where this is driving. Next article, Bitcoin supply on exchanges is falling due to public company purchases. So we've heard a lot in the news over the last week about public companies such as Strategy purchasing more Bitcoin, right? So the BTC reserves on the exchanges has fallen to the lowest level since November 18. So what's that, 6.5 years? Publicly traded companies ramp up their accumulation of digital assets following the US presidential election, according to Fidelity Digital. While Fidelity noted significant corporate Bitcoin purchase, most of the accumulation has been driven by Strategy. So we know that. Michael Saylor and Strategy, been in the news a lot last week. Look, they've acquired 285, 86 BTC. So that's 81% of the 350,000 that's been acquired. So, that's massive chunk of it. We have heard of other, like here we go. You've got outside the US, publicly traded companies in Asia have adopted similar Bitcoin treasury strategy. So we talked about MetaPlanet the other day. Hong Kong's HK Asia Holdings increased their Bitcoin allocations. So look, honestly, the institutional adoption, it's just accelerating, and therefore it's reducing the supply, right? And this is going to increase the potential for a supply squeeze, which of course is going to increase the price of Bitcoin. So, I still believe, as I've said, I still believe we're far from over in this bull run, and I still think it's going to fall in that back end of the year, maybe the back quarter, sort of September, October, November, somewhere around there. But time will tell, And the final article is Trump to host exclusive dinner for Trump holders. So I touched on this earlier. It's an exclusive event, the Trump Gala Dinner. It surfaced after community members uncovered a web page on the project's site indicating that President planned to host a dinner for major Trump coin holders. Scheduled for May 22nd, limited to the top 220 wallet holders. So the token was launched 2 days ahead of Trump's inauguration, also known as the official Trump. Once reached a market cap of $8 billion, following a brief period of explosion and collapse, its valuation currently stands at $2.7 billion. The project has drawn criticism from crypto community members and lawmakers who have raised concerns about the potential financial improprieties and a lack of regulatory oversight. I mean, I think that's fair. He's the president of the United States, so that's probably fair. Okay, let's leave it there. If you like today's video, give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing. Everything we talk about is time sensitive. Don't forget to check out the Block to Basics series that we've been releasing. We have another couple of those releasing today. One will be around Web3. We've got a token release for SWI, so a token talk, and we'll have another couple of those over the coming days. So check those out as well. Have a good day, and I'll see you tomorrow.